Hope everyone's doing well. I was ready to say good evening, but it's the middle of the day. We got Cardell Dudley Jr., Raymond Lyons, Wilson Tarpey Jr. getting used to, dealing with the Wizards and the Suns out still for several more hours. This was the regular season finale. If you guys have been with us this week, most of the seasons, everyone knew what this was. It was, you wanted to win today to try to continue to rise in the seedings in the play-in, right? So the Wizards were going to play in no matter what. Today, the win got them the 8th seed, so they're currently the 8th seed. They'll be in a play-in, and they'll be taking on the Celtics on Tuesday night after today's win over the Hornets. But the winner of Tuesday's game will be the 7th seed. So if Washington were to lose Tuesday night, it's not over. It's just determining who you're playing in that first round. It's, are you seeing Philly? If you win on Tuesday, you get Brooklyn, I believe. I think Brooklyn's 2 in the East. So sure, somebody can fact check that for me. But as far as today goes, things didn't start too well. They got back into it. This is like the second consecutive game where the bench played a big role. Want to make sure that doesn't get forgotten because some of y'all have been firing shots at the bench most of the year. Some of those people came up kind of huge today. But again, the Wizards beat the Hornets 115-110. Ray, we'll start with you today. I'm sorry. Today. Then we get to Cardell. Just your initial thoughts on Washington's win.
Huge win, man. Huge win. I'm gonna be a little selfish here. I'm glad they locked up the 8th seed. I feel a little better about that. That 9th and 10th spot got participation trophy vibes to me, man. So I'm glad they got into the top 8. But with that being said, that's only because that I expect that of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, we know this is not a top team in the conference, but we have been saying it since the preseason. If they do what they need to do, then they should find themselves in the playoffs. Given this new format, they still got a little extra business to handle to officially be in. But yeah, man, just glad they ended the season on a high note. Like you pointed out, Wilson, the bench was huge, man. They kept it manageable, until the main guys could get going. And of course, Brad and Russ stepped up in the fourth quarter when they needed it the most. The contributions from the others, man, were countless. Ish Smith, 14 points. Robin Lopez, 9 for 11, 18 points. Rui, 16. Bertans had 11. Everybody contributed from top to bottom, and they needed all of it because, like you said, they started off really slow. But eventually they got it going. Charlotte was a tough out. They've been playing well all season. By no means is this game a gimme, but it's good to see them grind out wins like this. Where typically where things aren't going well and they just find a way. They find a way to gut it out. The rebounding. As you see it on the ticket there, 60 rebounds of 50. They control the glass. That's been kind of their things that's been kind of their thing the whole season. Control the glass, points in the paint, free throws, and they kind of checked those boxes tonight and kept the turnovers down. So they had 14 as a team, but we've seen it much worse than that. So yeah, man, it was a big win. They needed it. It's good to go into the situation on a high note instead of kind of limping in, especially when this situation is completely within your control. You don't have to depend on anybody else to help you out. So yeah, man, just glad they were able to tough this one out and get the win. Brad, he's obviously still bothered, by the hamstring, but this just speaks to who he is as a basketball player. He could have easily set this game out. Some people in his position probably would have set it out. But it was a big game for them now in the play-in. They only got to win one game instead of two. So, and I'm sure he grasped the importance of that. So, he came out, fought through whatever pain he was going through, and then when the fourth quarter came, he was ready to go. So yeah, shout out to him, man, for just for being the team leader and guiding him to his victory.
And Cardell, I know you got a chance to hop in on the Brooks presser. So if you want to share what happened in there as well.
I mean, He just hopped on. Well, he started with the nights that Robin Lopez and Ish Smith had. He said they were the main reason why they won the game. They were huge factors in winning this game. He said their experience helped. Uh, our main guys carried us down the stretch, but they wouldn't have been in that position if it wasn't for Ish and Robin Lopez. And I do remember a certain poll going around DFV basketball circles where they were saying someone not in the league should be in over Ish, and this is why you keep a guy like Ish. He plays his role. I mean, look, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 turnover. 7 of 11 in a big ass game to determine a lot in the playoff, a lot at stake, and he was huge, man. He without his play, they don't win this game at all. As a matter of fact, Hornets probably blew him out by double digits because the Hornets were rolling early, but you knew they were young. You knew, you could get your shot at them, and that's what best do. They weather the storm. He said the last couple games were like playoff games. He said, honestly, this game mimicked their entire season. He said just a lot of crazy stuff happened throughout the game, just like it happened throughout the season. So they were prepared for it. He also said, I don't ever want to go through another season like this again. He said, life as a coach is so lonely, but you add in a pandemic, it was even more lonely. He said he can't say enough about Brad's toughness. He said Brad has been put in very difficult positions with injuries over the years. His mental toughness is on another level. He said, I didn't even know Brad could play until 30 minutes on the pregame clock. He just came in Brooks and said, I'm ready. He said he wanted to go. He said Brad must choose nails for breakfast because the end of drive he should be proud. The medical staff did a good job of getting him ready. He said, I know, he said, when I take Brad out the game, I don't look at him because I know he's mad and he's angry. You know what I'm saying? But he said, I knew eventually his body would get caught up to speed as the game went on, despite his struggles through the first, you could say, 2.5, 3 quarters or whatnot. He had to get his rhythm going because he said he hasn't done much with the basketball, obviously, with the hamstring injury over the last few days. He said Ish made the defense collapse a lot. He said we need Ish to play what he called good crazy. When he does, he gets a lot of eyeballs on his attacks, and it helped out. It helped the Wizards get their shooters open. They didn't make a lot of threes, but they got good looks, and that's all you can ask for. He said in the regular season, as a coach, you don't have a lot of sleep, but in the playoffs, you get no sleep. So he said my eyes will be more red than normal. He said I love to play in and made the finish to the regular season more exciting. Even with us being the 8th seed, he said he still loves it. We still need to win 1 or 2 to advance, but he said I always remember how we stuck together with this group this season. We battled. He said I'm definitely going to enjoy my walk back home tonight. I'm proud, man. This has been a tough year. I'm proud of the entire league. He said he said the team took a test 11:30 last night. So he said my old butt didn't need to be out that late, but he was happy when he got the text back that everybody, was cool, that they were clear to play. So, it is what it is. He said we got a great matchup with Boston. He said we play them tough and they play us tough. It'll be a challenge. Our guys will step up to the plate. We're happy to be here, but we're not a happy team just to be here. As for my takes on this game, in the first half, as Brooks kind of alluded to, the others saved the Wizards in the first half. They were big because Russ and Bill were struggling from the field greatly. And off the bench, Robin Lopez, Ish Smith, Rui had some, Bertans hit some shots, you know what I mean? All the others contributed to keep them in the mix when it seemed like the Hornets had them on the ropes. The Hornets ball movement, I think they got away from that ball movement in the first half. That's why I think the Wizards came back. They kind of got away from what worked. The ball movement, it was surgical in the first half. The Wizards, look, the scouting report is out. If you make them rotate, you can break them down. We all know that. But when the Wizards started getting offensive rhythm, as a young team does, they kind of get away from, they feel the pressure and they get away from what worked. That's what the vets did with the Wizards. That's the difference. What you saw in this game was the difference between being a young player and a veteran player. A veteran player would stick through it no matter the storm and during the game, no matter the adversity, the runs. The young players, the ball movement got them in the lead, but as the Wizards started applying pressure, as guys start waking up like Russ and Bill, they got the one-on-one play. they got to playing one-on-one, and that was exactly what the Wizards ordered. That's what they needed. And then they picked them apart, and that's how they got away with the W. I thought Terry Rozier was big, man. They couldn't really do nothing with him for most of the game. I know late he got kind of cold because of, one-on-one type stuff, and then, any team in the league can kind of sit down on that. But for the most part, he was hard. They couldn't do nothing with him. He almost had a triple-double, 22, 9, and 9. He 3 steals, man. Yeah, he was a problem. He was torching. He was killing. They don't call him Scary Terry for nothing. So I expect him to be on one in the playoffs. The key to me that helped Washington pull this out was the 9-2 run to begin the fourth quarter, and that's when Russ kind of hit some big shots to get on there. That was huge, and I thought Russ kind of figured out, fine, I'm not hitting any jumpers right now. What he did was an old school trick. I'm gonna get to the basket, get to the free throw line, and I'm gonna get my rhythm from the free throw line. That's what he did. And then you saw him knock down a couple big threes that they needed, and then the floodgates over for the Wizards. They were able to put together a 36-point quarter and pull it out. Bill waking up late to close. He finished with 20 points in the second half. That was just, rhythm, man. Hamstrings are tricky, man. He had to learn his body. He had to figure out what he could do, what couldn't he do. Meanwhile, in the middle of like a playoff atmosphere type of game, which is tough to do. So, he tough, man. He stuck with it and it came through. I already talked about Robin Lopez and Ish Smith, and I want, also throw Rui out there, 16 points, 7 to 12 shooting, 6 rebounds, man. I think people forget because he kind of carries himself like a vet, with his demeanor and everything. I think people forget this is his second year, man. You know what I mean? And he's been solid. Like, they needed him to kind of step up and be that third scorer, reliable, efficient third scorer, play solid defense. And he's been doing it. That's why they were able to make a run the second half and get to the AC, it's going to be with Jaylen Brown. I know Jason Tatum sat tonight, this afternoon, to get some rest. So I know he's going to be locked in, ready to sort some folks on Tuesday, you know what I mean? But, all in all, it'll be a good matchup. 9 o'clock, I think I saw it, so it'll be a good matchup. And I want to end this by just keeping it real. Brooks should get extended. He earned it. At least extend him through the duration of Brad Beal and Russell Westbrook contract. They got 2 more years. Do that. Why would you break that up? If this man couldn't coach or he wasn't connecting, ain't no way in hell they make a run. Like I said, we're talking about lottery picks. Who should they draft? We're looking at the draft pool. But the fact that they fought this hard through all the adversity, man. I mean, think about it. Trading Wall right before the season to get Russ on one leg. The COVID shut down for like a month. They ain't played for like a month, man. And they had to make up games. They put games back to back, rescheduling, man, the tests and injuries to Bill here and there, injuries to Bertans, Thomas Bryant going down, Denny going down, man, making a trade for Gafford. I mean, bro, they went through it this year. You gotta just be real. You gotta be honest, man. They went through it, man, and for them to just keep fighting, man, you got to give all the respect in the world to this team. This is a tough ass team. You can't even, for what they, at the beginning of the year, from where they came from, where it was like, man, do they have the toughness to? They're slowly building that up where they got some. All you do is respect this team. So I think he earned the right to be extended and give him some more pieces, man, so they can really do some damage moving forward. Like we keep saying, when he had some dogs with him when they were healthy, he gets to the playoffs. He gets to the playoffs. He wins games, and that's all you can ask for a coach, man. So, shout out to the Wizards, man. Good win, and we'll be back here on Tuesday.
Yeah, today's a really, really busy day. There's a lot going on Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Obviously, you guys pretty much covered everything. The game pretty much like it literally showed their season play out. Pretty much watching that game. Horrible start. Things not going well. They fought back, like Cardo mentioned, Ray, you mentioned as well. The bench tonight was huge. Without Ish and Mr. Hook shot over there, you're not back in this game in the fourth. Because once Ish got going, they had to move some things around on Charlotte's end to try to keep the boy out the paint. They couldn't really do it. When Lopez was on the floor, that meant they had to take PJ. That smaller lineup they started the game with, couldn't get away with it as much. They had to bring Zeller on. Those two played a pivotal role in this one. I love Rui started the game aggressive. He's one that started the game, got things going. He was assertive early, and he was just reliable as needed. When his number was called, he was there. And, it was a good win. They got, 48 hours to get ready for essentially what will be like their third or fourth playoff game, but it's accepted to officially be a playoff game come Tuesday night. So, hopefully they've learned from by now. They know what they need to do in terms of this run they made to close the season. It's not a secret. They know what their recipe to success is. Again, we've been saying it gets old. They know what boxes they have to check, what they have to control going into that matchup against Boston. Then we said it the other night, Boston without Jaylen Brown, that's going to hurt. That said, Boston is still annoyingly Boston regardless. It's still going to be a playoff game. It's going to have to send somebody home. So, things are going to have to happen. If you guys have nothing else about this game, we'll get into some of the comments. Real quick from my G, appreciate y'all tuning in. After real, he was just saying good win. He popped on at the very beginning, just say good win. I think everybody here is in agreement. As far as that goes. All right, before we get to the comments, quick word from our partners over at Oohs and Ahs. It's National Barbecue Day. Get over to Oohs and Ahs. Let me move this banner for you guys. Try our baked chicken leg quarter, served with your choice of Chef O's signature sauce, barbecue, buffalo, lemon pepper, and teriyaki. Lunch with one side is $9.95. Dinner with two sides, $13.95. Meat only $9.95. In addition to that, new fried chicken leg quarter, lightly breaded, served with your choice of Chef O's signature sauce. You mentioned barbecue, buffalo, lemon pepper, and teriyaki. Lunch with one side, $9.95. Dinner with two sides, $13.95. Meat only for $9.95. Also, it's a good day. You can head on over, or you can order online. It's oozandahs.com. Just that simple. On to these comments. Ray, do you accept or defer?
Well, I think I accepted the last two times. We're going to defer tonight.
All right, Cardo, you're up.
This afternoon.
Hey, look, man, just take the L. It's tonight. All right? Yeah.
Right.
At some point today, it will be tonight. When somebody watches this for the first time, it will be tonight. It's fine. From B Mizzle, questions about Mr. Barbecue Chicken, aka Pretends. Is there another player that gets paid $80 million to come off the bench? Why do you give the $80 million to Grant Harvey's son? Oh wow, a starter instead of a bench player. Pretends the highest paid player in the league per minutes played. My man's having fun with the emojis. The Washington Wizards. Oh, you, Carl.
Of course there is. I think OKC just paid Al Horford to go away. Sit down. So, that's just his error. You're gonna have guys coming off the bench making a lot of money because you got overpaid to keep them. Simple as that. Why didn't we get an $80 million to Grant? I believe Grant was a free agent, and he would have had to want to come here. That's the big part of that. He had control over his destiny. So I'm not sure if he even wanted to consider the Wizards. You know what I mean? You got to understand, a lot of guys from the area, it's tough to play at home, man. It's tough. Lot of distractions, and most of all, a lot of envy and jealousy in these parts. So, just being honest. So you notice a lot of local guys don't really look to come home like that. So you got also be real about what's going on with what their real situation is. Is he the highest paid player in the league per minutes played? Washington gives us whatever. They won tonight, so he played good. Keep it moving.
All right, on to you, Ray, since you chose to defer. See how your luck is. Steven Malero, is it me or does it seem Russ doesn't trust his team? In the last few seconds to take a shot, because 8 out of 10 times he pulls up for that lame duck of a shot and the game is over. Why not drive to the cup or drive and dish for a better shot percentage shooter? I'm just saying.
I think he does trust his team, but in the last few seconds, it's on him to make a decision. And more often than not, he's probably the best option. We're just being real here. And, I see way too many of these type of comments for the way they've really been closing out games and wins. They were 17-6 going over the last stretch of the season. So, I'd say he's been doing a pretty good job in deciding when to pass and when to shoot or what have you. I guess people got to find something to criticize, but I mean, I'm cool with a lot of decisions he makes in those situations. Of course, sometimes things could have gone a little bit better. Nobody's perfect, but yeah, man, he's got him in the AFC. I'm not sure what more do you want. And yeah, like I said before, either people aren't really in position to do anything with the ball, or like we saw last time against Atlanta, teams, it's another team out there playing defense, so they're not going to just let you kind of do whatever you want. They walled up on him and stopped him from getting to the basket, which is his strength. So yeah, man, you got to pick and choose and you got to execute. And but yeah, I don't know what more to say. He's closed some games for the Wizards this year, so I don't think it's too much to talk about here.
Cardell's for you, but go ahead. Or did you want to chime in on that last?
Yeah, that last question. You also got to look at the game, man. What's probably at the top of the scouting report when Russell Westbrook's playing? Proud to paint. He's athletic. He's a great finisher. So you saying why is he passing it? Well, the defense is sinking in when he drives. Common sense would be like kick it to him because they're open. You know what I mean? So it just comes down to them making shots. I know they haven't been good all season for making shots, but that you can't just stop not going to them because you're gonna need them later on. Like now, they're in the playoffs. You got now those guys know that Russ will pass on the ball, so they'll be more ready. As if I'm not sure. It's a very fragile thing in basketball, man. When somebody's gonna pass you the ball compared to somebody where you're not sure. You know what I mean? So, nah, man. You got it goes game to game, man. But at the end of the day, since he got healthy, the results are there. That's why they're in the AFC right now. So I don't understand where the criticism. Why is it still there? Obviously that decision is working.
All right, on to this one. This for you, Cardell, for Big O. What do y'all think of this Caleb Holmesley kid? From the highlights, he looks like a good pickup.
Well, he was here earlier. He got cut, but they really just sent him down to the G League, the Erie Bayhawks, and he went up there. He played really well, you know what I'm saying? So he's somebody that, you're trying to develop, you know what I mean? Just in that backcourt, help him out, add some youth, some young legs back there or whatnot, and see what it is. But no, I mean, they liked him from the beginning. He just needed a little season in the G League, and he proved himself. So, he got a nice little pickup.
All right, Ray, back to you from David Confield. I won't count the Wizards out in the first round, guys. Though it's a crucial reality that they would get cooked by the Philly or the Nets. But never say never until it happens. I'm gonna have some faith in these boys. Obviously, he's talking about the Wizards to get to the finals. It's just something weird about the Wizards upsetting great top-tier teams. And since they're capable of this, they have a shot at least, keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I know they beat Brooklyn twice in the regular season. They played Philly tough in early, but the playoffs is a different beast, man. Like, these teams not going to play around. They're going to find out what your weakness is, attack it mercilessly, and try to get you up out of here. We just got to be real about it. I know, it's good that there's some excitement and some some good vibes going around because the way they ended the season, but we can't get out of hand with it. Those teams at the top are just on a whole nother level. They're in full championship mode. The Wizards are, they're really just trying to find out who they are as a team for real. They, like how they'll say earlier, they've been through so much, and this is not even, they don't even have their full roster. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not count them out, but I'm just going to be realistic and say it's not likely at all they get out the first round.
Yeah, man, look. Philly, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee. Well, you got a taste of the playoffs right this game, man. You saw, like, the Hornets are young, man. They fighting for the same thing that the Wizards are fighting for, to get to the playoffs for the first time in years. I think the last time they made the playoffs, what they say, 2015 or something like that. So, and they're young. Like, they're I know Rozier is a vet, Devontae Graham is young, man. He was just in the G League a couple years ago. He played himself out of it last year. You know what I mean? He played well. PJ Washington's young. We know LaMelo's a rookie. I mean, Cody's a vet. He's come off the bench. Overall, that Miles Bridges is young. I think this is his second or third year. Overall, McDaniels, young. Their core group are young, man. They were in their first few years in the league. So they're trying to figure stuff out, but you see the talent. That's how they were able to jump up on the Wizards. You know what I'm saying? Against Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Like, well, honestly, depending on where they finish at, more than likely Philly or Brooklyn, you dealing with all world vets. The top tier players in this game. They're not gonna have that in the playoffs, man. Like, think about it, man. If Philly, just think about the urgency. No, with all due respect to the Wizards team, if they were to if the Wizards were to beat Philly and Brooklyn, heads will roll. Like, seriously, with the money they're paying, like, people will be out of jobs, dog. So ain't no way in hell they going out. Like, I mean, legacies, man. Do you be on? I know you be on social media. Every time somebody have a bad game, it's bad, right? You don't want to have that type of epic proportions like that. You know what I mean? You want to just deactivate your accounts forever. They're not gonna be. It's like what Raymond said. They're not gonna be playing. They got their eyes on the championship. So they looking at the Wizards like, let's smack these dudes, get them up out of here, get ready for the second round. Whoever that's gonna be, the Bucks or New York or Hawks or something, whoever, man. We're not gonna play with that. So, and I know they, the Nets, but KD, it was a totally different Nets team, man. Why their defense hasn't, not all world. We're not talking about it in the same breath as 96 Bulls or something, bad boy Pistons or whatever. If you can score like that, that is your defense. So, and what is the Wizards' main weakness? Defense. So that's it's gonna be bad. And Philly, same thing, but they're more of a complete team. And they got the monster in the middle that the Wizards cannot deal with. With all due respect, they can't deal with that. Nobody in the league can, with the exception of probably Jokic, who can even them out with his production on the other end. They just go back and forth. But no, that's too much to ask at this point, man. Especially, Bill, he turned it on, but look at, man, that hamstring tricky, and he gonna have to guard just as much as he dropped 30. So that's a tough ask, man. All you really trying to ask for the Wizards is to compete.
And that's the biggest thing, to compete. And then for as many of the youngsters that play a role in this playoffs, for them to get those minutes, get that experience.
Oh yeah, and to get to the finals. Yeah, I see that tree in your profile. It speaks volumes.
That's what y'all at today. All right, real quick, Ab for real from IG. He just want to ask real quick. So I'm gonna bring it to the table. Sixers or Nets? Who would you want first round?
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the Nets because they don't play no defense. So if Russell Bill and them guys get cooking, you gotta punch his chance. Philly strap up. Anyway, Philly averaged 113 a game, but they only give up 107. The only team better defensively in the East, and in the whole league is the Knicks. They got the second best defense in the league, and then they average 113. And they got some shooters, and they got some scorers galore on that team. Yeah, they got a better shot against the Nets, man. Because it could just be a long shootout, and Bill get hot, and Bertans get hot, Russ do what he do. You got to punch his chance, but against Philly, nah, homie. That's no good, dog.
Ray, you agreeing here? This is a 3-for-3 thing here.
Yeah, I feel like it's death either way, but yeah, I agree with Cardell's breakdown of the situation. Philly, they going to hit you with a sledgehammer. Brooklyn, like you said, it'd be just a shootout, but yeah, I don't think the Wizards got enough ammo for that.
Philly has 5 players averaging 12 or more points, led by Embiid, obviously, at 28. Then you got Danny Green and Furkan averaging 9. They're right there averaging 10. So you see what I'm saying? You got 7 dudes you have to worry about. And they got the main dude that the Wizards can't do nothing with. You just gotta let him get his. So and he gonna be talking. He gonna be in playoff mode. He gonna be talking ish and all that. Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be bad, man.
And then before we continue with the comments from, like the comments that were prepared, the prepared comments. This from David Owens on YouTube. Currently, Ben still can't shoot though, and I'm gonna answer this real quick. I think we've said it several times. Almost everybody else around him can. He's kind of really gifted as the passing thing, and when he's as big as all your centers and faster than all of them, it's a recipe for disaster. So.
And also, have y'all not been watching the Sixers play? Doc is not asking him to be a 3-point shooter. You know what Doc has done that's genius? He actually moves him around where your point guard is at a mismatch because he's getting close to the basket and he's in a high and low post. Y'all got to stop listening to these analytic boys. It's a lot of teams that can shoot the ball. They ain't winning shit. Just being honest. So y'all always focusing on the one thing a player can do. Ben does everything else. He can score. He can score the ball. So you know what he does? You know what Doc did as genius? He made a high-low game situation with him and Embiid. So with Embiid, he can score from all three levels, and then he can pass it down to Ben on the block. Or you do lob plays. Regardless, if he's moving it around in the paint and stuff like that, you got to defend him, man. So, I mean, to each his own, man. Y'all saying he can't shoot, well, then just leave him alone. See what happens.
All right, it's after we're going to continue on this, and then we're going to finish soon. So I have to go. I want Sixers. You can't trust Ben. You got 18 fouls for Embiid. The other guy's going to be hit or miss. You know what time it is with the Nets.
Who the hell said that?
This is from IG.
Oh, they ain't going to put their name with it?
Yeah, I said it's after real.
Oh, you said them other guys are hit or miss as far as what, shooting?
I guess.
Come on, let me just look it over. Hold on. You know, we got this. Seth Curry, 45% from deep. Y'all emphasizing shooting, right? All right, Seth Curry is 35%, 45% from deep. Let's go to Tobias, who's averaging 19, 39% from deep. Y'all saying that's the end all be all. It's funny how y'all just throw that out to the wind when it's convenient. Okay, you got two all-world shooters right there. Okay. Shake Milton, you got to guard him. He's solid. Nearly 35% from deep. 45% from the field. He can score the ball. Very efficient. You got to guard him. Danny Green, we all know he's a shooter. He's hit big shots before. He's won championships. What are we talking about here? I'm not – y'all, man, see, this is what happens. Y'all don't pay attention. Okay. What's that? Furcane, my fault. 37% from deep. They have nothing but shooters. What are you talking? Okay, let me hit the rookie up. Okay, he's a rookie. He shoots 28% from deep, but he's streaky. He can get high from out there. He's done it. He's done it against the Wizards. He's shooting 45% from the field.
All right, he said it's different in the playoffs. They ain't gonna be hitting like that.
Let's move on.
The same. Hey, look, we're gonna move on.
Now let's move on, man.
I said we're gonna move on. The same could be said for like the Wizards. We don't know how all these dudes about to act in the playoffs. Like
that's why we need to just move on.
Like
there's no reason, man. He just talking.
All right, here we go. Ball Jr. Bill can get 100%. I like the Wizards' chances against the Sixers. I don't believe Lord. All right, so we're gonna stay in this place. Man, three guys and Embiid, maybe like they got the number one. I'm skipping. I can't.
Like nobody else started this strategy, right? Nobody else throw multiple defenders at the Embiid, right?
Oh man,
my man he's walking through front lines. They've been throwing people at him all year. It doesn't matter. Like,
man, we love y'all, but come on, man.
Definitely do.
Like, come on, man.
And what's the word on Bill? I'm optimistic, but I've had hamstring issues before. It's really no such thing as a mild hamstring or pull or a strain. It's not a 1 or 2 week thing to get right. Yeah, we don't know what the thing with Bill is going to be touch and go. Hamstrings are always touchy. I would definitely agree with you with that point. But like, yeah, y'all, with the Sixers thing, I hear y'all. I really do. But again, for the 9th it's time to playoffs a little bit differently. They're just a little bit different. Like, that whole mid-range shot some people don't care about. It kind of matters that portion of the year. Like, y'all just go ahead, Cardell. Like, y'all hurt my head.
Last game they played against Washington was a shootout, 141. 141. They lost 141 and 136. Ben Simmons, the guy y'all said couldn't shoot, right? 17 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 7 to 9 shooting. All right. What y'all gonna say? I guess Russ wasn't healthy then. All right. Okay.
I don't know. And all right, also man, for real, and all of them also won't be playing. Rotations getting shortened. Yeah, the Sixers, all those guys in the Sixers rotation are going to be playing. Furkan's been there for like 3 years. It's like been a steady progression. So like 2 years ago, you're right, he wouldn't have been playing. This is 3 years later? He's playing. He's been consistently getting better. That's why he's been playing all season. Like, that steady progression thing. But again, we got one more comment that I'm gonna get through, and this comment's like a book, so bear with me. This is from So Ben. As much as I dislike Bertans, and yes, I do, I got to give the kid credit. He played well last night. He missed a lot of threes, but he did other things. I was pleasantly surprised he took a mid-range too. He moved his feet and put his hands up. He actually tried on defense. Did he play great? Did he play great defense? Hell no, but at least you can see him try, and he kept his opponent a bit honest. That's all I ask. I'm sure Bertans is a good guy, a good guy and all, but I just detest one-way players. Same reason I hated Roberson to OKC. Can't just play one side and be a non-factor on the other. RE, as far as Brooks go, people got to chill. I'm not a super fan of his. LOL, never have been. But the guy's doing a good job of what he has, and what this team needs right now is consistency so these young guys can grow. I think Russ has been huge for this team, not just for his triple doubles, but for his leadership. Guy's first ballot Hall of Famer, but gives 100% every single day. Is he perfect? No. No one is, but he never cheats the game. He plays hard every night. That's why he gets the triple double. The effort. And you can see that mindset rubbing off on the younger players. They're starting to run harder, hustle, dive on the floor, harass opponents, and attack with confidence. I mean, even Beal says in interviews, Russ drives him to get better. We have a Hall of Famer go out and leave nothing on the floor every night to hold you accountable. And with 8 players under 24, these young guys are learning valuable work ethic, which will carry favorable for them for their careers. For playoffs, I think a good result would be to actually making the playoffs, number one, and then number 2, making a 5-game series. That to me will be a successful result with the roster we have. It will give the young guys much needed playoff experience and confidence they can actually win there. Any more wins to me will be a bonus, but I just don't see it this year. Next year, I would like to see Bertans going, and seriously, I haven't seen how Denny is going to develop. I mean, he looks good, but I just don't see his fit long-term on this actual roster. On another team where you have the Hornets, you can see developing, but I just don't think that will happen on this team with the other players in front of them. If you could trade those 2 for one true 3-and-D player off the bench, I think it will help the team. Both guys, only because we need to give up something to get somebody reasonable in return. Ideally, someone like Robert Covington will fit perfectly here in their place. Obviously not right now, but as they grow, I like to see a court of Gafford, TB, Gafford at the 5, TB as an athletic floor spacing 4, much in the vein of Atlanta's John Collins, and I still think Rui at his size is a more natural fit at the 3 than having a diva here. I cannot talk. Than having Denny here. That will give us a nice big athletic front court that can play both ends of the court, especially defending at a high level. Having that front court grow with the back court of Russ and Beal would be interesting as they grow and get experience. Hutchinson, Neto, and Matthews are just keeps for me. And like I said, if you can get someone like a Rocco off the bench, this team might be a threat in 2 to 3 years. Again, this is from So Ben.
One, you traded Denny already? I mean, damn, man. You need to play the rookie in, dog. I mean, and as for Scott Brooks, I really would like to ask people, y'all quick to say y'all not a fan of his. What are you not a fan of? See, that's when it gets tricky. They don't really know. That's my question. What are you not a fan of? Like, give us something we can actually point to, like, okay, I can see that, or you tripping. Like, put something on it other than just saying opinion. What is it? Because no one ever says anything concrete. It's just when the Wizard struggles, it's Scott Brooks. You know what I mean? As far as Bertans, I think he's in the first year of that deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, he shot decent for what you're asking him to do. 40% is, you shoot 40%, that's elite shooting throughout the year, but his lack of defense, it hurts them. Y'all keep missing the point. Yeah, you saying get from under the contract and trade it, but somebody else will have to want him. and two, they've invested a lot in him, and for what he brings to the table, it helps this team. Because without him, when you got Russ and Bill, Bill can get his, but with Russ, it helps spread the floor to allow him to do what he does best. So even when he's not shooting well, the threat of him eventually turning it on helps keeps defenders at bay. So he fits well for what this team has. So, unless he just goes off the rails next season when he's shooting like 28% and not playing defense, he ain't getting moved no time soon. So you got to deal with it. As far as Danny not developing, he ain't even finished his rookie year. I mean, and one of Scott Brooks' strengths to me is developing young players. Y'all don't look at all that. Go all the way back there. OKC, look at the players he's developed. Fine, we're not going to include KD in that because, like I said, he would have been special regardless. But look at all the other guys. You didn't see Russ becoming what he became when he first was drafted. We can go down the line. So, you look at Thomas Bryant. Look what he helped build with Thomas Bryant. Look at what Thomas Bryant has become, even though he's out right now. Y'all forgetting that is coming back next year too. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't think the Wizards should make any drastic changes. I think they building something right now. You just keep building. Like sometimes you just got to do that as a team. You got to build. Every franchise are not destinations for big time free agents like Lakers or I'm trying to think of some other ones right now. The LA's, like what Brooklyn did this year. It just don't work like that for them. And because the Wizards don't have a history of winning. The best run the Wizards has had as a franchise was in the 70s, and none of us were alive then. On this broadcast we weren't, so we only hear about it. You know what I mean? Our fathers were, that's it. Our folks were, but we weren't. So they're not coming here, man. You know what I mean? So the best bet for you to build and win the team is to build and develop your talent. And then when you on a verge, you make a noise in the playoffs, then maybe you can go hard at some free agents because you have something to bring to the table. But right now, they knocking on the door there, but they add a couple more pieces and they'll be right back. Like I'm excited to see what Gafford would look like next to Thomas Bryant because now you got to deal with two of those guys. I'm excited to see what they do in the draft, who they gonna draft. You know what I mean? Like people weren't fond of Rui at first, same way you talking about Denny. They were talking about Rui like that. I'm pretty sure they like Rui now. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta. I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, you go back further. I remember when Bill was drafted first, and he kept getting hurt and stuff like that. I know that was before Brooks. It was what was it? Jordan Crawford, not Jamal, but Jordan Crawford was on the team. He had a couple of good games. People like, we need to trade Bill, keep Jordan Crawford. I remember that for some so-called well-respected basketball people in the area, and that would have been a huge mistake. You see what I'm saying? So you can't jump off the rails, being prisoners of the moment. You gotta relax and let these players build what they're gonna build. All right, you could say Troy Brown was a bad pick. Okay, that's fine, but that was under the old regime. Tommy wasn't in charge. That was one of Ernie's last picks. You see what I'm saying? So that hurt. That's a first round pick, lottery pick that didn't quite pan out. That hurt. You know what I'm saying? But Rui did. He's panned out to be a solid pro, and he got the potential to get even better. So you gotta keep these things in mind, man, when you trying to jump off the rails, man. Denny showed flashes, but he's a rookie. But you also got to understand he didn't have a summer league. He didn't have a training camp. His rookie year was during the pandemic. So go out there and figure it out was mostly what he had to learn. And he didn't quit. He battled. He fought, which is what we love. That's one of his traits. But he's 6'9" skilled, man. When he figured it out, he has the potential to be a serious problem. Like he could be Bertans that could put it on the floor and actually defend multiple positions, which would be sick. So you gotta look at it like that. You know what I mean? So you gotta just be patient with these young boys. Stop expecting everybody to be superstars right away, man. It's only about a handful of those. And just accept players sometimes for the impact that they bring in their specific roles. That's how you win. You know what I mean? Look, man, the Lakers won last year. Fine. LeBron and AD get all the headlines, but they're not winning without Rondo doing what he do. They're not winning without those three centers. Dwight, JaVale, and all those guys doing what they do, Markieff and all those guys, man, they're not doing that. I mean, the bigs, they're not winning without those role players stepping up. So that's what you have to build a team, and then let's see where the chips fall.
Right.
I don't have much, but I just want to know why people think we can trade players that they're saying are bad and get good players in return. Like no GM is going to do that. Like it just doesn't. This is not 2K, man. Like you
It
can't.
wouldn't work on there.
Right.
It don't work on there.
He
Some of
said,
these
"Don't
trades,
work on that."
some of these trades y'all come up with, the only way it works is y'all got to tell the truth. You get on there and franchise and you override it. So tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Yeah, man. Like if you're saying a player is bad, why do you think we'd be able to exchange him for a good player? Like that. That's not how the world works, man. And like Cardell said, man, we throwing Denny away already, man. God damn.
Already
Like,
got hurt.
give it some time, man. Like, and yeah. And again, Cardell makes a great point. People don't want to come and play here. I mean, when's the last time a big name free agent ever signed here?
Gil, when he wasn't a big name, he just developed into that. He wasn't that yet. That was probably Gil.
Yeah, man. So,
or Paul Pierce when he was old, but he wasn't Paul
Right.
Pierce in his prime. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, the best bet here: draft well and develop. You know, that's just what it's going to have to be. You know, so yeah, we got to calm down. We got to temper our expectations, and because we're not going to land one of those big guys. That's just what it is, and that's been the history of the franchise forever. So yeah, just we're gonna have to develop some people, and we're gonna have to be patient. And let's just hope that what we have doesn't want to go elsewhere. Because Cardell says it often, if Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook roll out, it's going to be a barren wasteland around this joint. And yeah, so that's just what it is, man. People got to be more realistic in regards to personnel and what we have to work with, and you know, and what this team can do in that regard.
And real quick, just look at Golden State for an example. When Steph had all those injuries early, free agents wasn't going there. Are you serious? They were looked at as a horrible franchise. They build up quietly, they develop, they come out of nowhere and win a championship. Now all of a sudden they can top 2 player in the league at the time, who I feel is the best player when he's healthy now. Now he come and it just made the league impossible. It was just like, damn, dog. You know, I mean, only way we win is when the shit is over with them, and that's what happened. So why not take that blueprint where you have sustained excellence, and then other players will see that and they're gonna want to come? Because you know what I'm saying, players not necessarily looking at the roster. Most of the time, the first thing they look at is the organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, just like any job, do you want to go work? I mean, with all due respect, do you want to go for work at a job where the management is kind of it has a reputation of being No, because you know your job and your sanity is gonna be every day. So okay, you know, come on, man. Think about all that. You know, like Wilson keeps saying, this ain't video games, dog. Like you said, some of those trades don't work there. So we reaching, man.
Very much so. Afro was like, he mentioned a couple free agents like Bogdanovich and Dwight, but again, that wasn't Orlando Dwight that the Wizards got. Bogdanovich isn't a top tier free agent. Shit, the Bogdanovich the Wizards got, not even the Bogdanovich the Hawks got. You know what I'm saying? This is not me being mean. It's just the Bogdanovich the Wizards got was more in the vein of Bertans. The Bogdanovich the Hawks got, that dude got some stuff with him. He can put the ball on the floor, make plays for others. It's a little bit different. But again, like, y'all just gotta let stuff build. Like even with the Nets, right? Everybody's kind of like it was real microwave. Was it though? Because they still kind of did things the right way and built like a competitive team with a bunch of people nobody cared about. And then you still had to have people that developed and grew that you can use in trades. And yeah, we know those big guys came over, but again, like Cardell said, the organization. But what stood out even with the organization is they weren't like, oh, let's just tank. It was a competitive team that was in the bubble. It wasn't trash that was in the bubble. It was a competitive team. But again, you have to. Now I got you. You said the one in Utah, and again, like the one in Atlanta. That's why, like, had the Bucks got the one in Atlanta, people were going to be upset. Like there is a difference between the Bogdanoviches. But yeah, like y'all got to let stuff grow. Like even with the Denny thing, Denny does a lot of the stuff when y'all come up with y'all wish lists that you want in players. He has a lot of those skills. He has to get comfortable in this league. Let it happen. Like we saw what happened with TB. there's things we see little flashes from Gafford, which shows you like, who knows? It could be a 10 to 15-foot jumper in there somewhere eventually. But should you throw them away? Nah, don't do what the Bulls did. You have them, keep them, develop them, see what it turns into. Like, it just doesn't make sense to throw stuff in the trash quickly.
Yeah, and also the best team that we've seen in the last few years, as far as the Wizards go, was the 14-15 team that was a game of getting to the Eastern Conference Final. Wall broke his wrist, and they lost to Atlanta. Okay, so looking at the big pickups that they had that game, whether through trade, I mean, they year rather do trade or free agency. It was like I said, Paul Pierce, who was still effective, but he was more of a big time shooter. He wasn't the same Paul Pierce. Nene came here. Drew Gooden came. Rest in peace with Drew Butler came. You had Andre Miller. And I'm trying to make sure I don't leave out, and Ramon Sessions and Gary Temple and Martell Webster. Think about those 7 guys. Now, Paul Pierce was probably the biggest name out that group, but he was at the end of his career. He wasn't the guy that you saw in Boston, but he was still an effective leader. He was key to the development of Bill and John Walker. That was at that time. You got to think about it. Bill was in his 3rd year, and there was still questions about him. But then he showed up in the playoffs, and you were like, all right, he does have it in him. He just got to stay healthy. So those are 7 veteran key additions through free agency or trade that came to Washington, and they were a game if Wall didn't get hurt, because they had Atlanta's number before he got hurt. He was the X factor. They couldn't defend him. He would have got the Hawks up out of there, and they'd have probably faced who was LeBron more than likely in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's what we're talking about. Like, but at that time, what is it, 2014, 2015, who were the stars then? You see what I'm saying? D Wade wasn't coming. You know what I mean? Like, Brandon Roy wasn't coming. I'm just throwing out names. Lord, no, Kobe, nobody that ilk was coming. But you got some quality veteran players that have done work at a high level in this league to come, and all of a sudden your overall team boosts, along with Wall being in his 5th year and Bill being in his 3rd year, developing and getting to what they do. That's how you win when you're not a go-to one, historic franchise like the Lakers or Celtics, teams where they know you got a chance to win. That's what you have to do. That's what they're trying to do here. So you gotta be patient. It's a new regime. Like Tommy just got the keys last year.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He just got the keys to GM last year. I hope they bring Brooks back, because I think he's done an amazing job with this year. So you gotta, under the circumstances what he's had to deal with, man, he got the job done. They're in the playoffs. So I feel he's gonna come back. Russ is healthy. You got your backcourt straight. All you gotta do is really honestly shore up that front court. You gotta shore that up a little bit. And that's bringing some size and athleticism there. And you got key veterans already here in place that's going to get some play. You building upon playoff experience, and that nucleus will be stronger going in next year. And then draft well. You see what I'm saying? Then you'd be surprised what can happen. Just like this year came, you see a whole bunch of young teams just took a leap. The Knicks. Knicks is the main. They jumped a lot of teams. Yo, we 4th, dog. Y'all going. They got New York rocking. You know how hard it is to win in New York? So come on now, it don't take much. So you keep building, man. You'd be surprised what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. There's not a price you could put on vets. There's not a championship team in history that didn't have quality vets in some shape, fashion, or form. Golden State had people terrified and not liking basketball at all. Man, not the old people coming off that bench. People nobody wanted or cared about free agency. I don't care that they got them. Yeah, all right. They up by 15, league go to 30. Like, you need those people, man. Like, even what's it called? Some of y'all was laughing at Derrick Rose when Tibbs went to go get Derrick Rose back for the Knicks.
I wasn't. Oh,
yeah, nah. But that's what I'm saying. There was a whole lot of people. They're 4th.
And you know what he's going to do? And you know what he's doing? He's going to speed up the learning curve for RJ Barrett, Manuel Quickly, and all those guys. That's what's going to happen. All them young guards on that team, whatever. Quickly already came in before Derrick Rose was going to work. So now he's going to teach him the ropes, teach him the thing, and now that game's going to take off. You're like, what happened? How he get that good? Oh, man, he should have been drafted here. The hindsight experts is what I call them. That's what veterans do. It's the reason why teams on the verge of winning championships, they don't trade for young players. They get the young players out of there to go get the vets. So they know how to play. We know we can trust them. They know how to play. Man.
Hey, look, then like literally, you know what you have. It's just a matter of how many minutes can you give me. As long as I know that, that's it. That's literally the only discussion.
Look at
Because I
Brooklyn.
know exactly what.
They got Jared Allen out of there, and he can help him. But you too young, dog. You ain't ready right now. Okay, let's go. Hey, DeAndre, you back up. Go get Blake. Go get Aldridge before he retired because of his injury, his health issues. So yeah, they get you up out of there quick. They ain't traded for youngins.
You just gotta be patient, man. Y'all getting too crazy with everything. You just gotta be patient. But I want to thank you for hanging with us. We will definitely see you guys very soon. As again, it's a busy Tuesday. Got the Focus TV at 8. The Washington Mystics play at 8. The Washington Wizards play at 9. So just some shape, fashion, form, sometime. We'll see you Tuesday night. We will definitely see y'all Tuesday night. Y'all have a good one for Ray. Cardell and myself. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evenings.